You started, maybe I should start this time.
Go.
Great. Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm starting with hi, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of Designer and Developer Having Coffee. My name is Tom. I'm the designer in this duo. And a quick random fact about me, I'm doing this really ill, running a fever and coughing like a motherfucker. So there might be some editing to edit that out. And today we're going to talk about pushing through work when you're sick, and maybe talking a little bit more about work-life balance and how do you stop and how do you relax and how do you unwind. And obviously this is not a great start for me because this is me doing this sick.
Hello, I'm Mario. I'm the developer in this duo, and behind me over there is my record collection. And that is, I'm going to give you an example here. And that is a pretty stupid, because having a record collection and not having a record player like I don't is not very smart, and an engineer would not do it like that. So, yeah, I'm not very smart.
It's funny to now imagine people listening to this podcast, not watching the YouTube, and you showing them a record. So I'll just translate what you showed was a jazz record that I did not recognize. So I'm kind of think majority of people would also not recognize. So it was a jazz
Yeah,
record.
it was Duke Ellington. I mean, you seriously should know about Duke Ellington.
I'm joking. But Duke Ellington is no Britney Spears. So.
Thank God that Duke Ellington is no Britney Spears.
Okay, great. Let me kind of start talking about the topic, or maybe you should start because my energy is like.
Okay, so I'm supposed to start. When you are on your own, many people think, I'm going to go on my own, I'm going to do my own stuff so I can be free, so I can be, master of my own time and things like that. And that is mainly true. The only problem is when there are exceptions. And I don't mean exceptions that you are not a master of your time. I mean exceptions that throw you off your classical work-life balance rhythm. For example, if you have a deadline and you're ill, the deadline is still there. You promised the deadline. The customer doesn't necessarily care that you are ill. In a normal situation where the client is normal and when the deadlines are normal, it's not a problem to be honest about it and communicate and say, hey, listen, I know we said, I don't know, Friday, but I'm sick. It's a normal human thing. Please give me. And in normal situations, you will always be able to do that. However, there are situations where, as you know, we have a release on Monday. And at that time, it's tricky if you get sick. And so this is what we're talking about. And one of the ways is to just push through, like say, okay, I'm ignoring the symptoms of my body and I'm going to do it. Another way is to find somebody to help you, and so on and so on. There are really, really different methods. And there are really, really different ways of tackling with this. One is solving the issue. A bigger one is trying to prevent the situation from happening by having a regular diet, eating healthy, practicing healthy, and things like that, and all of that all of the books say you should do, and none of us really do it. So, I don't know, Tom, how do you deal with this?
So obviously we made a promise to all of our now 30 subscribers that we're going to publish a new episode every Tuesday. And since now is Tuesday, and I just got back from Krishna last night, and we haven't recorded yet, and now I'm not feeling great. But this is kind of the promise that I don't want to break to myself, first and foremost, then all of our 30 subscribers, and then everybody else. But you mentioned the term work-life balance, and here's the thing. I heard this a long time ago. I don't remember where I picked it up, but it was the term called work-life integration, where you're not balancing out something, because that kind of means that you're doing something you don't like, sacrificing part of your life to do something that you do like, and kind of you need to balance out the two things. And since being a freelancer for majority of my career and doing everything on my own time for my own freedom, I kind of felt that for me, my career was integrated and it was part of who I am. I do not stop being a designer or a comedian or whatever at 5 p.m. There's no cutoff time when I stop being who I am. And that kind of fucked with my schedule, especially early on, because I didn't have this healthy uh, relationship with when I work, when I don't work, because there was always something to do. And especially when you're in a situation where you need the funds, you need to pay the bills, you need to get to the next month, and you don't have the buffer to get to a point where now you can say, like, okay, now I'm going to stop for a week or a month or 3 months. And it took me a while to get there to plan ahead. So now when I'm either talking to a customer or taking on a contract or whatever, I always account for a possibility that I'm going to get sick. And deadline, whatever deadline may be, you need to account for that. Of course, if you get sick one day before the release, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think you need to guard your own peace and your own health. And I'm sure when the day comes and you're laying in your deathbed, there will not be a moment's thought where you're going to be like, oh, I wish I finished that project on a deadline for my client and sacrifice more of my health. I don't think anybody would have that regret. So just be sure to guard your own health, says the dumbass recording a podcast with full blown fever.
Hell yeah. No, but I mean, I have a different. I agree with everything, and I have a different story because as I have little kids now, and little kids want time, and I want to spend time with them because my kids are awesome, and it's the most fun I'm ever having. But then you end up with having tasks that are left to do, and then if it's a really big sprint and I have to really finish something, then I end up working like late at night, and I can do that for some time. But after a while, it comes to a point where the body says, okay, now you're going to stop or you're going to get sick. And I don't stop and then I get sick. So I noticed that recently when I have these longer periods of pushing myself way over the limit, that the body just responds with, nope, you're not going to do that. So I'm trying to do less, delegate more. And obviously, you are a freelancer, so you're kind of on your own. I am in charge of a company, so there are tasks that I can delegate that people can do instead of me, that people can help me with. And I'm learning more and more how to do that so that I become fully replaceable. And that if I get into any sort of trouble, if I get hit by a freaking bus, that, you know, things go on. And actually, I read on LinkedIn, I think there's a guy from France whose name I cannot remember, but he has this concept of the unicorn CTO. So for all of you CTOs out there, or for all of you people aspiring to become a CTO, he delivers really great content. He has a great newsletter, the Unicorn CTO. And one of the things that he mentioned about a CTO is a CTO's job is to think how his current role can be replaced by somebody else in 6 to 9 months so that he can move on to the next thing. And that was actually funny when I saw it, but it's actually true. You need to find, if you already know what you're doing at this position and you're a CTO of a company, then you need to find people who can do it as well as you or even better than you so that you can tackle new challenges and open up new frontiers. But it also goes with you should be replaceable so that if you get hit by a bus, that nothing is held back. And I know this is easy to say, go ahead, be replaceable, but that's something that I'm currently working on and that I'm currently aspiring to. How do you do that in a freelance world?
I'm thinking. So, unfortunately, you're not replaceable, but you mentioned that, like, when life happens and it is what it is, I never had a problem with a client, never ever once in my career, where they weren't just nice. Okay, yeah, you're sick. We'll wait for it. I think majority of people who's hiring freelancers are aware that life happens, and I think this is one of the risks you take on when you hire a freelancer, that that person might get sick. So this is the benefit you're getting for not hiring a company or an agency is cheaper and faster for the most part. But at the end of the day, it's only one person. So I think you assume those risks and then you're aware of those, at least in my experience. But one thing that I kind of changed looking back was when I started, especially when I was working through how my rate looks like, is my hourly or daily or whatever. And I counted for 52 weeks out of a year and 40 hours out of a week. And then it turns out that in order to work 8 hours a day as a freelancer or a contractor for someone, you need to spend additional time in selling yourself, conversations, meetings, admin work, all of those stuff. And it kind of, you're actually working full time plus additional half time just to do the admin work. And now I'm kind of, when I'm talking to people starting out, I tell them account for 10 months a year of working. So if you want to earn 100K a year, that would be, you would then say, I need to make that amount of money in 10 months, not in 12. So you have 2 months off. So I'm suck at math. So that would be 100K
Divided
divided
by
by,
10? Seriously?
no, by 12, right? So if it's divided by 12, that's 8,300 per month. But you're not working 12 months. So you need to get to a point where you're making 10, but you act like you're making 8, and you're putting to aside for all of those time that is admin work and sick days and vacations that you want to take and all that stuff that needs to be taken into account. So 8.3 is not the target, 10K is target, and then
A lot of our friends
so whatever
actually,
your target is.
a lot of our friends who are freelancers even do that so they can be more flexible, do more traveling, have more free time. So they calculate with like 8 or 9.
Yeah, exactly. So everything depends on what your financial goals are. There are people that, so I'm not saying there's a right or wrong approach here, but some people focus solely on money and they want to have as much money as they can before they turn 40 and whatever. And this is like, all great. So they work themselves bloody to retire early, which is amazing. But I think they're sacrificing the best years, best life, just being cramped in front of a computer, working 12 hours a day, amassing the cash, and then you say, why? So I can travel. Like, you can travel
So
on
I
a
can
third of what
buy
you're
a
making.
Ferrari when the midlife crisis hits.
Exactly. Yeah, I talked about this before, but not on this podcast. There was a situation where I've learned of a person who was a couple of years older than me that worked really hard in the industry and started a bit early. And it was from when I met that person years ago, it was like, oh my God, they are so successful. They're doing this and this. I wish I could be that person in a couple of years and get to a point where uh, they have a big salary, a lot of equity, just killing it. And the plan was to retire by the 40, uh, focus on raising the kids and whatever. And then life happened as it does. And the person got some weird brain bleed at age 39 and died. And it had a lot of money, a lot of equity, a lot of cash in the bank. And I'm 100% sure that that kid is not living their life now. Like, I'm so glad my mom or my dad or whoever left me this amount of money, and I'm so glad that they worked their life bloody. So it's kind of like today is given, but tomorrow is not certain, and just kind of trying to stick to that. There was a great video a couple days ago that I saw where one guy was like, "Do you want $1 million now, or I give you a penny that doubles in value every day for 30 days?" Right? Okay, engineers doing brain math work. In 30 days, it comes down to 5.4
Of
million.
course, like it's 2 power to 30. That's like a gazillion.
Exactly. No, it's $5.4 million in 30 days. or 1 million today. And one guy said like, "Oh, I want 1 million today." He said, and the host says, "That's but you're gonna get 5.4 in a month." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna be in a month, but I know where I am today." So, and if you're good with money, you're gonna double a million in 30 days. You're good. But I know that today I can do something with my day that I have, because whatever you did today, you sacrifice a day of your life for that. So you better make sure that it's worth it.
This is why right after recording this one, I'm going actually to watch my daughter do ice skating. They had a little school of ice skating for 5-year-old girls, and now I'm watching their show on ice.
Yes, and sorry that we turned developer we turned a developer and designer podcast into a
Deathbed
uh
review of your life, yes.
yeah. Oh
Very
man,
happy
maybe.
topic for a Tuesday morning. Nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this episode is gonna fly, but
Yeah, I hope everybody's now bummed and depressed and like, oh my god, what am I doing? Why am I watching this? I have to go home and hug my family. I'm wasting time watching these two morons discuss how I shouldn't waste time. What the fuck is wrong with me?
yeah, people gonna go hug their family for sure. No, I'm so if anybody was listening to this until to this point, I'm not saying I'm gonna give away an ebook this time. Just tweet or something, let me know.
I'm gonna give away a
I
hug
want to hear the
because that's
comments.
more valuable.
I'm gonna give away a free hug. But actually, out of the 3 episodes, in every episode I said, "Hey, if you listen to this, let me know, and I'm gonna give you an ebook that I have." And then last week, one person actually sent me a DM on Twitter, and I gave away the book, and it was great.
Nice.
And it was someone that I do not know, so which is also great. There's a
Nice.
person who's listening to this that I don't know personally that got a book from me. So I think we're doing something good.
Nice. And
But to get back on the topic
to get back on that topic,
of,
I actually have a story for you. So
please,
when about so this is about work-life balance and pushing when you're through and pushing in difficult moments, sort of. My third kid was getting born, and a doctor is a friend of ours, and he said, "Listen, I'm doing these days. I'm doing it in a city outside of Zagreb. It's called Karlovac. Come there. It's less crowded. You'll get more of my attention. I'll be on the birth and things like that." So we decided that my wife will give birth there. So we come there, but I cannot be admitted and I cannot attend the childbirth because of freaking COVID. So I am out in front waiting for however long I have to wait. There is no like, it's gonna be finished by 6. I'm waiting for how long will I wait. And I have a laptop with me because I had a laptop in the car. So I open it up and there was this project for a startup that I'm doing that I really wanted to do so that we can deliver it quickly and be responsive and things like that. So I open it up and say, okay, now I have free time. I really don't have anything better to do. And I was looking at that freaking report and at those numbers and couldn't focus for a single second on what we were doing. In the end, I kind of got it and we kind of did it. And the team helped me, the amazing team from Picketer helped me. But like, the fact that, okay, now I'm going to do it, and then you're looking at it completely not focused because other things are distracting you, it's also a mess. So I don't know how focused you are on this episode, how not at this point, but sometimes when you're doing something influenced by unexpected external situations, you better just like close the shit down and take a walk.
there's a
Okay, so while Tom is dying and coughing his lungs out, which you might not be able to see because he's going to edit it out, I need to say something smart just to not waste time on the air. So this is me saying something smart, not wasting time on the air. But yeah, actually, I also end up doing a lot of stuff when I'm ill. I know a couple of guys that also end up doing a lot of stuff when they're ill. From one end, it's because some stuff shouldn't wait. But from another end, it's also because, like, I am ill now, but if I do it now, then I don't have to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, when I come to work, I won't have 50 tasks, I will have 48 tasks. And 48 is much easier and much better than 50. So, for all of you who have a to do list with 50 tasks out there, just do two of them, then you'll have 48. You'll feel a lot better.
I met a guy last year at a meetup. We were talking about this notion that I'm pretty sure probably everybody who's listening to this is going to be familiar with, and that's having a never-ending task list that only gets longer, right? And especially if you're building stuff or you have your own ideas and doing stuff on your own, and then you get more and more ideas, and I can do this project and that project, and I can build this app or this product or whatever and whatever. And at one point, it got I was frustrated about all the things that I wanted to do and just didn't have time to do. And especially when you have client work and you have bills to pay, you just don't. There's not enough hours in a day to do everything, right? And met this guy. He's a developer, amazing man. And he said like, yeah, yeah, I was like that. And then one day, he just archived the entire to-do list. He just moved it to like a Google Doc, copy pasted, removed it from desktop. So like, man, you know what? If I need it, I'll go back to it. But I don't think I'll ever do this. So it's kind of okay to let go some of the projects, some of the ideas. So I kind of thought about it for a couple of days, came back and did an audit of all of the things that I wrote down that I want to do. And there were some great ideas, some not so great ideas, some things that could have been great if I put some heart, soul, time, sweat, and tears into that I really can't do. So there was like an idea for a web shop that could sell very specific, very niche uh, coffee mugs and phone cases and T-shirts that
I was
that
sure
would
you were going to
serve
say
the
sex toys.
audience of yeah. So it was very specific thing, and I said to myself, you know what? I need to design all of these things. I have a couple of ideas, but I just don't have the time. So I kind of put it on ice and said to myself, maybe one day I'll come back to this. And I did this for like 80% of stuff. And then at the end of the day, I was left with a couple of things that I actually really want to do. And then from there, I said, any out of any of these three, doesn't matter which one, because if I'm working on one, I'm pushing forward, so it's cool. And I pick a task per day for that specific thing. So whatever it is, and this is one thing that I focus on. So if it's a podcast, today we're recording the podcast. I'm going to edit, I'm going to publish it, and that's it. I'm not going to be doing anything else aside. And then one of those three things, one task per day. And then shit actually gets done. Because when I'm overwhelmed by 50 things on the to-do list, I don't do any of them. And I end up either mindlessly scrolling through YouTube or doing something completely random. And that actually works.
I don't know if you know Ivan Voras. He's a great guy. He has a startup actually. It's called Equinox, and they're doing really cool stuff with augmented reality and virtual reality. And I highly recommend anybody to go to equinox.vision and play around with it. It's really, really freaking cool. But basically, he sent me a movie where a guy comes to work and he has a task list this big, this big, this big, and then he's overwhelmed by it and does social networks and things like that. And there's another guy who has the to-do list just as big and just takes one task and does it. And taking one task at a time and doing it over the course of time, you will win. So whichever thing, and this is something I read in all of the books, all of the freaking books that I've read on time management and everything, you need a system, you need consistency over long periods of time. One of the best books on the topic is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I strongly suggest it. I made a dozen posts about it on LinkedIn. It's amazing. But basically, it all comes down to be consistent in something over a long period of time. If it's removing one task from your task list, do it, but do it every day. Whenever you can, remove one task. That small step may seem insignificant at the moment, but in the long run, it all accumulates and you clear up your task list. And this is why I sometimes do when I'm ill. I sometimes still choose, okay, now, I took a pill, my fever is down, I have 2 hours of concentration. Now I'll do something just so I can get it done so it doesn't wait for tomorrow. And I'm not the most proactive person in the world. I tend to procrastinate. This is something I am fighting with on a daily basis. But sometimes this mindset kicks in, and it's always good when this mindset kicks in. So I hope that it's going to be kicking in more and more. But yeah, this is why sometimes I do it on sick leave.
What is you mentioned procrastination, so I, c- I will use being sick as an excuse not to do work, which is great. It's not an excuse. You shouldn't work when you're sick. But since you mentioned procrastination, what is your go-to kind of solution for procrastination? There's a book that my best man gave me called The Procrastination Puzzle, which kind of helped me a bit to declutter some of the things. And there's a great TED talk by Mel Robbins where she says whenever you notice that your mind started to wander, you just count down from five backwards, like five, four, three, two, one, and it breaks the pattern. That's one of the things that really helped. And I would usually put a phone in a different room, and then you notice how often you actually just grab your pocket and see where your phone is. It's so annoying to realize how just the habit of just constantly grabbing the phone. It's once I was became so aware of that. Now I'm avoiding phone as much as I can more and more. And especially when I'm working, I just phone is in a completely other room than my office,
So the
and I
horrible
just
thing
ignore
about
it.
phone is they have that screen time app that tells you, I don't know, this week you've been on the phone for, I don't know, 6 hours. And then if you were on the phone for 6 hours and you calculate and you multiply and you figure out that you were awake for like 100 hours, that's like 6% of your wake time you are on the phone. Is that worth it? Regarding
Yeah,
how to deal with
exactly.
procrastination, I've read dozens of books. I'm horrible in applying any of those techniques, but I'm fighting. So I don't I don't want to talk about it. I'm a little bit ashamed that I have that problem because that seems like a simple problem to solve. Just get up your ass and do it. But I think that's gonna deserve an episode of its own, so not to mix it up with it now.
Okay, fair enough. I totally agree. That's a great topic for the episode. Are you okay with us cutting this one short
Yes.
and me going to bed and taking a fuckload of pills, and then once I get better, I'm gonna edit this and publish, and hopefully it's not gonna be too terrible compared to the last couple of episodes.
Do you know when a kid comes to his grandma and says, "Grandma, grandma, have you seen those pills I left on the table?" And the grandma says, "Screw the pills, have you seen the dragons in the kitchen?" Ta-dum-tum, tsh.
Oh, you're such a dad.
Oh yeah. But it's not even a dad. This
Okay.
won't work with kids yet.
I'm gonna say sorry to everybody who had to suffer through this joke, and
You
thank you
can
for
edit it
staying till
out,
the end. No, no, I won't. I'm gonna leave it in and just
please.
hope people will not unsubscribe because of this.
No, no. So when I was a team lead in Top Doll screening team, then we were like a team of 30 to 40 people. I can't from between, and the rule was that every meeting has to be started with a bad joke. There are a lot of there's a lot that you can learn about foreign cultures by learning their bad jokes.
Okay, maybe we should end our podcast with bad jokes. So I'm gonna leave this one to you, and I'm gonna think of one for the next time.
I need another one.
No, 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 no. You don't. That was a
That was the
good
line.
bad
Okay.
joke.
Because I do have a bad joke.
So
It's the Croatian government, but I don't know if that's going to work. Ta-dum.
that should be a podcast. That should be a podcast on itself. But anyway, thank you
No.
everybody for listening, watching, doing the thing. Bye bye.
Bye.